Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be looking at Event Grid, Azure Event Grid. So it's also a service in the Azure portal, and we are going to be learning about it together. We'll be doing research together and we'll be going through it together. This video will be majorly around the Azure portal. Then in subsequent videos, we would be entering into Visual Studio. But for this video, just gisting, doing research around this particular service. So I'm sharing my screen now. So in some of the last videos, we looked at queues, we looked at service bus, we looked at Azure functions and many other topics. So why then are we looking at Event Grid? What really is Event Grid? Is it a standalone service or is it like an intermediary that connects multiple other services together? So we are looking at it. The first thing I'll be doing is let me create a storage account first, a new storage account that we can work with. Um, and let me use this storage account name. Let's call this event grid. Clear your event grid. And then put S in front for storage accounts. We can use fonts. So what really is event grid? Okay, so let me just initiate this storage account, then we would start to discuss around that. So we do not need to set a primary service. Standard is fine. I don't want redundancy, locally redundant. And I think I'm good with the storage account. So let me click to create. This will take some time, so it's a good idea we start this on time. While this validation is going on, I think I should also try to create. Okay, it's already done. Yeah, so let me click to create. While this is going on, let's also create a function app. So can click to create. Consumption is fine. You need to follow me so that you wouldn't miss any aspects, because this is kind of logical. Event grid. Let me also use the same resource group. Not that it matters though. And for function app, so fn for function clear your runtime stack as usual .NET. Then the version because in this case, for what I want to do now, I have to go with in process model. Should I use Canada? No, let me use France since it's way closer to me. Yeah, so I think this is fine. I do not need storage, networking, monitoring. The default is good. So let me create. So I'm creating my function app now. My storage account is already done. So I'm going to my resource. I know I haven't explained what event grid really is, but I just want my account to be ready. So the validation is in place. Yeah, so let this, while this is submitting, let's look at what is Azure Event Grid, because we are doing our research together. Fully managed event routing service. So event grid is a fully managed event routing service that offers flexible message consumption patterns using the MQTT and HTTP protocols. It provides reliable message delivery at massive scale. Interesting. So what does MQTT mean? So MQTT stands for Q telemetry something something. So it's what message queuing telemetry transport. Okay, so let's see our function. Okay, it's almost done. So we are doing our research together. Okay, so let me see. Let's look at what is the alternative. What is the alternative to event grid in Azure? Let's do research. Yeah, so we can see several alternatives. What is the alternative to event grid in Azure? You can see all that we have here. Okay, so let's see our function app. And our function app is done. Okay, so by the time we are done with this series, it will start to make a lot of sense. For now, we just have to flow with it. Okay, so we have our function app, we have our storage accounts, and we want to set up an event grid as an intermediary between the event source and the event handlers. And your event source can be anything, but in this case, in our scenario, our event source is going to be our storage account. And what we are going to be doing is, let me go to my containers. Let me create a container very quickly. I'm creating a container now. Creating a container named data. Many people use data, but it really can be anything. Then what I will do is, let me set up my functions. So in my function application, I go to create a function. So this is where I am going to set up event grid in between my source and the handler. So over here, there are different triggers that I can use. I'll be picking event grid trigger as the template I want to use to create my function. Now click on create. Okay. So as I was saying, your event source can be a storage account, it can be a subscription, it can be a resource group, it can even be a custom event or anything. While your handlers can be an Azure function, a logic app, event hub, which is another service here, or even a storage queue. Remember, we looked at storage queues as one of the storage type in Azure storage accounts. Okay, so we have this, our function is ready. What we need to do is, have I created the subscription? Have I created the subscription? Shouldn't I create a subscription first? Let me go back. So we need to create a subscription. So we'll go to events, click on events. Then we'll click on event subscription. So you can see we have logic app here, which is something that we'll look at in some of our subsequent videos, which is interesting. We'll click on event subscription. Let's give it a subscription in name. Let me call it event subscription frankly Ayo. So that's our name. Our event schema. Let's go with the default grid schema. We are still going to be exploring that. System topic name. System topic name frankly Ayo. Filter to event type. So this particular option, we are going to be seeing its usage very soon. Just remember that the only thing that we have checked is blob created and blob deleted. So anytime any of these two events happens is when there's going to be an invocation, there's going to be a trigger in our function app that we used the event grid to the event grid template to create. So we're going to leave this, we'll leave it blob created and blob deleted because we want this to be as simple as possible. Event endpoint type. So we are going to choose function for this example because our function is what we are setting up to be the handler. So we are still going to look at how we can work with webhook. Webhook is something that you use often, especially when you are connecting from Visual Studio rather than from Azure portal. So let's go with Azure function. Let's configure an endpoint. So I know that I didn't explain event grid in terms of the theoretical aspect a lot, but let's just get this workflow that I'm trying to demonstrate. The moment you get this workflow, when we start to explain it using real life examples and analogy, it will be a lot easier to understand the technique. It will be a lot easier to understand it from a technical point of view as well. So all this is set, event grid series, resource group, function app. This is fine. I think we have just one here. Slot is production. We have just production. I didn't create any additional slots. Event grid trigger is also great. So let's confirm selection. Yeah, so with this, we can create our event subscription. So I love to cover these sort of topics that when it comes to best practice, they are important, but a lot of people take them for granted. Something like this event grid, something that you can do without, but if you are making use of it, it has a lot of advantages when it comes to I was trying to gather some information around it from the theoretical point of view, and I was seeing its application um, in Internet of Things, in data analytics and the likes. Okay, so it's app ready. Let's see. Okay, it's still deploying. Okay, still working. Okay, let's refresh. Let's wait a while. Okay. So we are creating a subscription now, and this subscription is from our storage account. The same way we are working with subscription when we're looking at service bus. So we are creating a subscription, and after creating this subscription, we are then going to link up this subscription with our function. That's why we selected the endpoint as Azure function, and we also um, selected um, that for this Azure function is based on event grid. Okay, so let me refresh one more time. I think this is done. So you can go into the subscription, take a look at it, to see what's in here before we return to our function. So this is our subscription. Yeah, interesting. Let's just leave it here and we would monitor these wonderful metrics. So let's return to our function application. So we have our event grid trigger. So let's open it. Okay. Yeah, so we have our custom code, which looks great. So what I'll be doing now is, rather than have our application log here, so before I even do that, let's just look at other, so you can click on logs here and see how many times there have been an invocation. Okay, this is just say connected. For the invocation, we need to click here, invocation, to see how many invocations have happened so far, and it's 0. Okay, so let's go back here. We have our code, our script, our CSX file. So what I will do is I'll change this to file system log so that we can monitor when there is a blog being created or a blog being deleted. Yeah, so this is interesting. So what I would also do is I will open my storage account and I would um I'll go to my containers. Have I clicked on containers? Okay, so data storage, containers. So I will click on data. And now I want to create a blob. I will upload a text file or something. And this is just so that it will capture what we've selected. You know, earlier on we selected blob creation and blob deletion as part of our filters as what we want to see. So I'll just choose any file here, first file .txt. Yeah. So we've created a blob file now in our container in the storage account that is acting as the source to our event handler, and our event handler is an Azure function. And we have our event grid sitting in between. Okay, so what I will do now is I come over here. You can see that now that there have been a trigger, blob created trigger. You can see it's storage.blob created, event grid was fired, blah, 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 and it gives us the time, which is interesting. If we should go over to invocations, we'll see that the number would have increased because the function it was 0 previously, now it's 1. Okay, so if I should click on this, we'll see execution event with a fire that blah blah blah, Microsoft storage block created, blah 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 blah, which is interesting. Okay, so if I should also go to the graph, here is my graph. Okay, let's see last one. Yeah, you can see it here. You can see it that there is no traffic. Okay, so what I will do again is let's go back here. Let me change this to file system logs one more time, and I will upload another file. I will upload another file and we will be seeing the effect again. You can see that we didn't capture because our code here, the log information over here does not capture. We did not go into detail in terms of the content of the file and the file name and things like that. We're not interested in that for now, but in subsequent videos, I'll show you how to go get more details around what is really happening. So you can see it here. Now I would go and I would upload another file and we'll see that there will be an invocation again. So let me upload again. Let me upload an text file, image, upload. Let's come here. We are seeing another trigger one more time. Interesting. So I believe this flow makes a lot of sense. You know what we are trying to do. If there's if you should if there's something that you should take away from this video, just know that when it comes to event grid service, you have an event source and you have an event handler. You must have a source, you must have an handler. Your source can be a storage account, a resource group, a subscription, or any kind of event, anything that kind of like app data and supports these events. You can see that from our storage account service, we navigated to events. So any service that has that supports events, we can always use it as our source. Then you have your handlers where you can use Azure function or a webhook or any other um, event handler. But most times when you are working with custom code, webhook is mostly what you would be using, which is why in our next video, we'll be looking at how to make use of webhook. And from the theoretical aspect, just know that event grid allows you to send message queuing telemetry, something for data analysis, visualization, Power BI kind of things. And it also has its application in Internet of Things. We are still going to be looking at more real life examples, and things will be a lot clearer when we are doing that. In our next video, we'll be using Visual Studio rather than just doing everything from the Azure portal. Okay. So if you find this video helpful, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.